Salem Capitals basketball.com podcast, and excited to have Moe Smith with us for. I don't really want to try to make these have like a timestamp, a moment in time, because I want them to kind of be evergreen. But let's be real, we're like at the midpoint of the season for the Salem Capitals, and you have a couple of home games. So I do want to give a chance to kind of talk about the season so far, 2025. Your team gets some home games in like the first time in a month. It feels like it's been forever. So, how do you assess your 2025 season so far?
I think we started out a little bumpy, but we're catching our stride. We have some momentum, and we're starting to click too, and really, gel together, build that chemistry. So I think things are on the up and up for us. Like there's a saying, like you want to be playing your best basketball towards the end of the year and not the beginning. And so I think we're progressing towards that, being able to play our best basketball towards the end. So I'm excited for us. I'm excited for our group. I think we got a chance to do something special.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch this team play and have the opportunity to see a disappointing year last year in terms of missing the playoffs for the first time in a while. And I bring that up because I have to imagine like that was on your like top priorities, right? Is be a playoff team again. How important has that been for this team?
I think the goal for us and like the DNA of this team is one of a winning pedigree. So like not making it to playoffs, that hurt. I know that hurt a lot of our guys. And we were down a couple of key individuals that if push comes to shove, we do have them. We win a couple games here that we may have lost, but that's kind of the ebbs and flows of basketball. But definitely this year we're I would say like right now we have our mindset like set on, making it and coming for blood. So it should be solid. It should be really good moving forward.
What's your like origin story with the Salem Capitals? How did this become a thing that you've had the chance to be a part of?
Yeah, it actually started from Damo, believe it or not, because we were college teammates at one point in time, and when the Salem Capitals like they came or they became a thing, I was just like I was actually doing like score sheet and like shot clock. So I was like working for them. And at first glance, I was like, this doesn't look like real basketball for real. But I I built a relationship with some of the guys, and I was like, wow, it's a lot different than what I thought from the outside looking in. And um, I had conversations with Damo, like going into the second season, and which was my first season, but going into the second season of the Salem Capitals, and I tried out and made it. And yeah, that's kind of like the origin story. I was just like working at the shot clock for a couple of their games, watching from the first year, like Montego and those guys play, even when Coach Kev was playing. So it was cool to watch him, and now it's cool to be in the position to play for him.
All right, but you got to be honest with me. So you're sitting there working the clock, right? And you're seeing these guys on the floor. Were you immediately like itching to maybe get out there, or was it someone who's like Damo saying, "Hey, why don't you start playing with us?" What was that like transition like?
Yeah, if I'm being vulnerable, man, I didn't think that like the players that were playing were that good. And that's because I mean I was still in college playing, and I was like, oh, this doesn't look like real basketball. Like they don't look like they're that good. Um, and not knowing that the professional game is totally different, the pace and the speed and the physicality, it's a lot different. Um, and I had a rude awakening when I came into to like playing against some of the guys, and I was like, wow, these dudes are actually really good. Boy, was I wrong, type of thing.
I'm showing a little bit of Damo on the screen, and he's a character, man. Someone I met in like the speaking circuit before I ever got involved with the Capitals. He's in
Mm.
Toastmasters Club giving speeches. One of these ones where he's sitting there kind of talking to his future self, but he plays both parts. He's on one side of the chair, it goes to the other side of the chair. It was one of the most like dynamic things I had ever seen. What kind of teammate does Damo provide?
Ah, dude, he's amazing. He's literally amazing. I've known Damo for shoot. I'm 26 now. I met him when I was 20. Our first interaction was at an open gym at Corbin University. We almost got into a fight, and that was like our first time ever meeting each other. Um, but I always call Damo a very unique and special individual. He's so loving and so kind. And I could say so many more positive things about him, but as a teammate, like he's one of the best teammates I've ever had. Like he requires a lot of attention, in the sense of he's going to be vocal, he's going to communicate, and sometimes he even over communicates, or he wants people to over communicate back with him. Um, but as a teammate, as someone to love on you and pick you up when you're down, like he's that guy. So I can, like I said, I can go on and on about Damo because we have a lot of equity built into our relationship. But that's my guy, man. That is
Well,
my guy.
and it's so interesting though because like that's unique in the sense that you met him perhaps so much earlier than many of your
Yeah.
teammates might have, right? Um, how do you see maybe your relationship with him different than maybe some of your other teammates because of that longevity that you have with him?
I think it's just like it's kind of like just picking up where we left off because we were teammates prior, and so you could say that I may be a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to being able to communicate with him. Even some of the terminology that he'll use or that I'll use, like uh, it'll be stemming from like our Corbin days or with like when we were in college. And others may not understand it just because it's different terminology. But for like me and him, we'll be right on beat or right on pace. And then it's just fun to compete against him. Like I know that he's going to give me his best, and I'm going to give him my best. And some matchups I win, some matchup he wins. But uh, yeah, it's just like it's coming from a place of love. So yeah, if that answers your question.
It does, and it's one of those things that I think it's cool that we get to share that with the fans, the context that you and him have been together longer, that you've been part of the Salem basketball scene for longer, playing at Corbin. How did you arrive to be in Salem and compete for the Warriors?
Yeah, that man, that's a story. So originally, out of high school, I committed to a small junior college in Moses Lake, Washington, called Big Bend Community College. Um, and after my time there, I was supposed to go to Central Washington University in Ellensburg. Um, and when I was, getting ready to sign my LOI and go through all the processes of doing that, the head coach that was there ended up getting fired, and a new coach came in. Um, and me being like a 18-year-old that was a dumb 18-year-old, I was just like, dang, that sucks. I'm not going to go to class for the spring semester. And I was ineligible going into my sophomore year at Big Bend and came in during the like actual regular season, not the preseason. Had a pretty rough season and performed well against a player that Corbin was recruiting at the time. And they ended up not jumping ship on this player, but they ended up recruiting me. And it was actually the only school that I went to visit. I had a couple schools in Canada that were offering me and interested, and a couple other schools in Oregon and Portland. Um, and I only went to the visit at Corbin and committed like a couple days after. And then that's kind of how I got to Corbin, dude. It's a weird story, but yeah.
I was about to have you name the player, and I was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't have you do that. But I mean, are you two like? Did you have a relationship with that player after it was all said and done?
Uh,
You said you
well,
you you played against like a player who was committed to Corbin and competed pretty good against him.
somewhat because we had played against each other 2 years prior. I honestly
Okay.
can't even remember his name.
Yeah.
Only thing I remember is the college that he ended up going to. He was from Idaho, and he ended up going to Lewis and Clark State,
Yeah.
and which is in Idaho. So he like kind of homegrown. He just stayed home,
Yeah.
and he played at Walla Walla Community College.
Okay.
And so I can't remember his name, man. Now that's gonna bug me. I'm trying to think of his name. Trying to think of his name. He was good though. He was very good.
Well, and you prefaced it, right? You were like, this is kind of a crazy story. How much do you, just generally speaking, buy into fate? Are you one of those guys who are like, yeah, fate is a thing?
Yeah. No, I definitely think that everything happens for a reason, and that we all have a predisposition to where it is that we're supposed to go in life. We just kind of got to walk that path. Um, and so, I mean, I think it was a fate thing that led me to Corbin and led me to Salem. After, I mean, I've been here for like 5, 6 years now, so um, yeah, I think it was meant to be for sure.
I had a chance to watch you in the two games I filled in last year, and then of course the games that I've been on the mic this season. And the one thing I observe about you that I think is worth sharing about what you provide the Capitals is you seem like you're put in situations where you have to play like you are 6'9" sometimes, right? Like they seem to need a variety of things out of you, and you always seem to kind of answer that call. How do you see what KJ and the staff need out of you in your role with the Capitals?
Um, yeah, that's a great question. I think it kind of some things defer like game to game, depending on who's got the hot hand. Like maybe I have the hot hand, so my role doesn't necessarily like switch, but it gets amplified. But one of the things I know for sure that I try to pride myself on is rebounding, whether that's offensively or defensively. Um, and yeah, like guarding the other opposing teams, like bigger like post threats or bigger wings, however you want to stretch it, and just competing and making it tough. I think uh, I think my body size like kind of puts me in that position. Just being a little wider and having the strength to like battle with dudes that are a lot taller than I am. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's fun though. It is fun.
Well, listen, you make it look that way. Like when you watch you play on the basketball court, it looks like you're right where you're supposed to be. Was basketball ever challenging to keep as a fun thing? Because as you get farther into it, right, it gets more
Right.
competitive. Did you ever kind of lose that just initial love for the game at any stage?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's like a point in time, or at least for myself, there was a point in time where the expectations that I wanted to fulfill myself, uh, I didn't feel like I was living up to those expectations, and that kind of drove resentment towards basketball. And then also, like I went being younger, like I went down the comparison route where I'm looking at this person, looking at that person that I may be matched up with, and I'm like, man, this dude is doing X, Y, and Z, or this much better than I am, and um, yeah, I had to really mature and understand that like my race is a lot different than others, or at least my journey is a lot different than others. So I've definitely had those thoughts, and yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird. Like I think for the role that like I play, it's not a role that is always sexy. Like it's not a sexy role, man. Like a lot of the times, like I'm down there in like the trenches with big dudes. And it's just like, you got to fight, but yeah,
But
I
it's
don't
it's
know.
it's a huge role. And are you back in love with basketball? Are you at that state in your life?
Yeah, I think I've been able to like separate the business from the pleasure in the sense of basketball. Because at the end of the day, like it's just a game, man. And it took me a while to realize that. But it's just a game. Like it's a game that kids play, and that adults play, who love it as kids. And well, fortunately, like we get the opportunity to get paid to do it. So that's just like the icing on the cake. Because I know if I wasn't getting paid, I'd still be playing. So Um, yeah, the love is there. The drive is there. It's just about us and myself, like going out and accomplishing what I feel I'm capable of, and what I can help bring to the team.
I'm curious, with you being part of the Capitals, community culture is a big thing, right? And getting out into the city and having a chance to interact with the kids that are kind of in that state that you just talked about, right? This is a kid's game first and
Yeah, yeah.
foremost. How much do you embrace those opportunities to be around the kids and the youth in the town?
Oh, bro, it's awesome. I love it. I truly love it. Like, there's nothing better than like seeing the like homemade signs that they'll make for you, or um, the little like gifts and trinkets and things like that that they'll make for you and give to you at the end of the game. And it's crazy to me. Like, it's so crazy. They will say, we'll like, we've had this conversation with Jason, and he's like, the kids don't care if you win or you lose, or if you play a lot or if you play a little. Like, they're excited just to be there and see you. Um, and that was always so challenging me for understand. I'm like, how can you be someone's like favorite player, if you're not performing well, if you're not doing something that would like have them look at you and inspire to, do what it is that you do. But it's so true, man. We're truly fortunate to have the fans that we have, and the kids that show up and just show us unconditional love.
You have on your bio at salemcapitalsbasketball.com not only that your hero is your mom, but
Yeah,
also your why is your mom. And I found that to be really powerful, right? That in both
yeah.
places the answer's the same. And so describe why you decided that that's the answer to both those questions.
Um, Man, yeah. My mom was an amazing lady. Yeah, I don't know, I think growing up, grew up in a single parent household, so growing up and watching her like work, and like really work hard. She used to work graveyard, so she was a CNA, and so like working graveyard, like she's working from like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., 12-hour shifts. And so when she gets back home at like 6 a.m., like normally you would think like you would go back to sleep, and prepare for the next work day. But like she was making sure me and my older brother were getting ready for school, um, straightening up the house when we didn't clean it, and getting ourselves prepared, getting dinner prepared, whatever. And I just saw like how hard that she worked. Um, and the cool thing that I always marveled at was not necessarily how hard that she worked. It was that she never complained about the work. She knew that it was what she had to do, in order to provide for us, and she never like complained about it or wanted glory for doing the work. It was just her responsibility, and like that's just something that I really take like close to my heart. As far as, and like answering the first part of your question, for her being my hero, was just she did what she had to do, um, and never complained or anything. And for the why she's my why, for a lot of people that don't know, my mom passed away last January, January 8th, due to lung cancer, and it was a rough year. Like, still is kind of rough now. I'm not having her because she was my best friend. Um, But one of the things that she always used to tell me, was, like, whatever it is that you believe, whatever it is that you want, you can obtain it, and chase after it. And whenever I am in situations where I'm feeling sorry for myself or feeling down, or maybe I want to take the shortcut, like, she's the reason why. Like, I'm going to push through. And so, um, yeah, man, she's a special lady. She's a special lady, and yeah, that's my girl.
I'm sorry to hear she passed. You mentioned
Thanks.
January. I'm assuming we're talking 14 months ago, not just a couple of months back, but
Yeah, 14. Yeah.
2024.
Yes, sir.
Um, you said something interesting about that person that has belief in you. When
Mm,
we're talking professional basketball, the amount of people who even have the opportunity you have playing for the Salem Capitals, it's rare, right?
yeah.
How how much do you attribute having someone who's kind of whispering in your ear or on the other end of the phone saying, "Hey, you have that capability." How big is that in your line of work?
Ah, man, it's huge. It is huge. Because there's a lot of accountability that has to come from like yourself, like making sure that your body is prepared to perform at the level is needed. And like just like me and you, for example, like I know I don't wake up every day feeling good, and I'm sure that you don't either. But knowing that you have like those days when they're rough, like knowing that you have somebody there, whether that's a friend, partner, whatever, teammate, that can kind of put that juice in you and gas you up, and get you ready to, endure it, even if it's prematurely, even if you're only given a little. Like it's funny, Damo always says like, if everybody gives a little, we'll have a lot. And so knowing that, if you can provide 10%, uh, somebody else can pitch in and provide 10, and if all of us provide 10, we'll get to 100 somehow, some way. So it's huge.
I like that one. I'm gonna steal that one for sure. That's a
Yeah. It's a
that's a
good
good
one to
line.
steal, man. He's been saying it for years, so it's like, yeah, I gotta pay homage to my boy.
That Dama wisdom, right?
Yeah, for sure. Damo's
Um,
family.
there's another aspect of being on the microphone for this is I understand. I think it was the first thing you said to me at this year's meet and greet when I had a chance to shake your hand is that you're in like the podcast game, or at least was for a
Yep.
while. And my understanding is you did that with Zay. I'm gonna
Yes,
get
sir.
I'm gonna get into the Zay Gentry story because he's having a hell of a 2025 so far. But like, what makes you interested in this line of work, talking into microphones, sharing stories? Why did you decide to start doing those shows?
Uh, I don't know. I think me and Zay's relationship is unique. And it's just kind of funny, like us being around each other and our interaction, the way that we kind of bounce off each other. And that's my boy. That's my best friend. So um, I don't remember how the conversation even started, man, but we are just like, dude, let's do a podcast. Like we feel like that'd be funny. Um, and our personalities are somewhat opposite, and yeah, I don't know, man. It flowed, and hopefully we can get back into it soon. We've been slacking major, but hopefully we can get it jumping again.
Well, let's be real. I mean, this isn't the easy thing to do,
Not at all.
finding the time to get into the podcast world and setting up all the gear. I mean, honestly, I love setting up the gear at the Capitals facility when I have a chance to talk to you all in person, but this is certainly easier, and I'm looking at you guys. You got a set. I see a background. I see lighting. Like you definitely were taking this thing seriously.
Man, that's all due to Zay. Zay was um, like I posed the idea, um, and he kind of hit the ground running with a lot of stuff. And yeah, he was like adamant on just things looking a certain way and how he would go about it. And yeah, that's all due to Zay. Yeah, he's the mastermind behind all that. I was just, if I'm being honest, I'm more of the show up, throw the mic on, all right, let's rock. And he was like, he's like, I got to take 20, 30 minutes to get ready, make sure everything looks good, And he's a pretty boy, so he's making sure that like his outfit is good, his hair is all curly and whatnot. But yeah, no, that was all due to Zach for sure.
There you go. So Nitty Gritty Pod on YouTube. It's not too late. You can check them out. Two best friends having a blast talking about their views on different topics in culture and society. So, it's still there. And I know you got like a day job and then basketball and life. And so I can't wait to see it start hitting the feed again. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, man, I didn't think that we were like having that much traction. And I mean, we got like a couple views here and there, and it's just been cool to see for the people that have watched it regularly, reach out and, hey, when's it coming back? Hey, when's the episode dropping? Hey, da 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 da. And it's been going on consistently. I think the last one we posted was maybe like 8 months ago or something, and it's throughout that 8 month period, like it's just been several, different people. When's the pod? When's the pod? When's the pod? Um, But yeah, we're both pretty busy. So whenever we can scrunch some time together, man, and knock it out, that would be amazing.
Well, I think it's a good point too. Like it coincides a little bit with something else we talked about, which is you never know who you're having an impact on. You never know who's taking in the things that you're saying wherever you're saying it. So I think that's a good point, and important for everyone to remember. I also think it's worth letting you, someone who knows him so well, shout out just how good of a season Zay is having this year. I mean, this guy is arguably the best player on the floor every given night.
Oh,
What have
yeah.
you seen in his performance in 2025?
Nothing that surprises me. Um, he's amazing. He really is. That dude can he can play his butt off for sure. Um, I know that the way that last season ended, he broke his foot a couple games into the season. Um, and I know at that point in time we were living with each other. And I know just how much like it hurt him not to be able to be out there, not to be able to practice, and do the thing that he loves. So I know he has I know he has some extra motivation going into this season, and it shows. Our team is not successful without Isaiah Gentry. Period. Um, and he leads in a couple of different ways. He's not necessarily an extremely vocal leader, but by his actions, by being consistent, like he's reliable in every sense of the fashion. And so, in order for us to be a championship winning team, a deep playoff winning team, like number zero has to be, one of the focal points or the focal point.
I got a couple of quick hitters for you. I've called you
Yes, sir.
Mo
Shoot 'em.
throughout, but
Mhm.
Mauricio is your full name,
Yeah, Mauricio is the government.
and is that one that resonates with you, or is it the one that's on your ID? How close is that name to you?
No, so I'll give you a funny story. My dad's name is Maurice, and when I was born, he wanted me and my older brother to be named after him. Um, and so growing up, like everyone called my dad like Big Mo, and I used to hate the name Mo. Like when I was in high school, my friends would call me Mo. I used to hate it, and I would have to like redirect them all the time. Like, no, it's Mauricio. It's Mauricio. And eventually, I just got kind of tired of correcting everybody, and I was just like, all right, man, it's Mo, whatever. Because I didn't want to take my dad's nickname. I was just like, man, like call him Mo. I'm Mauricio, right? But eventually, I was just like, whatever. And it got to the point where, man, literally no one called me Mauricio. I feel like for a long time, people didn't even know Mauricio was my real name. Like, it's crazy. But it's cool. I think I fit strong with Mauricio just because my mom, that's how she always identified. She would always call me Mauricio. And so, like, it's near and dear to my heart due to that reason.
And then the other one is I couldn't help but notice the cap, and I know some folks are diehard sports fans. Some people like it for the look. Where do you settle with that Dodgers cap that you're wearing?
Okay, so um, I am a baseball fan, but I am not a Dodgers fan. Which I know symbolism it could throw you off. I'm actually a Brewers fan, but this hat was really cheap, and I wanted a hat at the point in time that I was shopping, and the hat went well with an outfit, so I bought it. But yeah, no, I'm a Milwaukee Brewers fan through and through. Uh, so
I'm really
yeah.
happy I asked that question because now I want to know how you became a Brewers fan, because you can imagine that doesn't happen a lot where I meet people who are like, oh yeah, Milwaukee Brewers for the rest of my life. How'd you become a Brewers fan?
My family's from Milwaukee.
Okay, okay,
So my family's from Milwaukee. I was born in Milwaukee and
okay.
moved to Las Vegas when I was really young. Um, and my uncle George, he actually used to play for the Brewers like in the '70s. Um, and he's Cuban, and so if you know any like Cubans or their baseball is their jazz, and he played for the Brewers for a little bit in the '70s, and so yeah, just kind of gravitated towards it. I started watching a little bit. It's a slow game, but I started watching it, um, and yeah, man, it's man Brewers. We kind of stuck right now,
I was gonna say
though.
that's kind of the statement of the season so far is the Brewers. Just
Yeah,
period. That's what you
it's
got.
rough for us right now, but it's
Hey,
okay, man. It's early. It's early.
there's 145 more games, so we're in good
Yeah,
shape.
it's
We're in good
early.
shape.
It's early, man.
The good news is we're out of time, and I already know that there's lots we can talk about next time I have you on. So, Mo Smith,
100%.
absolute pleasure to join the podcast. I enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, my man.